same place. And we do all break into our businesses in our own ways. There are people out there who have different personality types than I have. Like, I don't know if you guys do the GEMS test, but like, I am so not Emerald. It's like not even funny. So when there's Emerald personalities, like that's totally not me. But there are people on my team who are Emerald personalities, and they could benefit from learning from other people who have Emerald personalities, right? So I think it's really important to not just feel like you're stuck inside of a box when you're doing this coaching thing, and to really learn from other people and follow people who have a similar personality style to yourself. I know for me, like my coach doesn't even actively work the business. She's more of a hobby coach. So I reach up into my upline. I follow other diamonds in our diamond groups. I follow other top Canadian coaches to try and learn what they're doing and not be them, because that's not what this is all about. It's about breaking into your business and being you, but seeing what's working and learning how you can learn to be yourself and market yourself and brand yourself. So I'll never forget the day that, and I don't know if you want me to go into my story at all, or if you want me to just jump into training stuff.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Whatever you can tell your story. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. For those.
I don't know if maybe somebody will relate to that, and it might be.
Sure. No, I love it for sure. Give her.
I always skip over it. So, okay, I'm going to backtrack. So I am a Canadian coach. I have lived on the West Coast, and now I'm on closer to the eastern side, I guess. I'm in Ontario now, but a year ago moved from Kelowna. I'm a mom of 3 now. I started coaching when I was on my maternity leave with my second baby. When Shanna was 2 months old, my husband took a job up north in Fort McMurray. And I lived in Calgary. My parents lived back here in Ontario, and I was terrified. I was terrified of raising my babies by myself with no help. I had no family. I really didn't even know anybody over there. I was pretty new there, and I was scared. And truth be told, I wallowed in a puddle of my own self-pity. And every night when I put my kids to bed, I would drink a bottle of wine. I would numb my feelings. I would numb my emotions just to make it all go away. And I mean, we all know what that does to life. Life starts happening to us at that point, and anything negative that could happen did happen. And it just wasn't great. During that time, my husband's first 21-day stint away, his father drank himself to death. He's a severe alcoholic, and that was a wake-up call. So I knew I needed to change. Sean came home, and we went and dealt with that whole family say goodbye thing. And I just started working out, doing my own thing. While I was on my maternity leave, though, I was let go from my corporate job. And it was, we needed it. We needed that second income when you're living with a certain within a certain means, and you're living a certain kind of lifestyle. When you're out in Calgary making a good chunk of money, you spend more money, right? And we needed that income in order to support our family. So long story short, I had come across this girl and was introduced to her and started doing my own exercise. Everybody else was having better results than me. I inquired and I signed up to coach the day I bought my first challenge pack. My husband said to me shortly thereafter, when I was let go from my job, starting over sucks. I didn't want to start over. I didn't want to go back to job interviews. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. And I had gone through that first experience with my first daughter of getting a text when she took her first steps, like those experiences that I don't want anybody else to have. That was mine. That was mine to have. And I didn't want to go through that again. I had epic anxiety when I went back to work the first time. That was my first real, aside from one time in university, that was my first real run-in with anxiety, and it sucked. And so I was determined at that point not to go back to work. So Sean and I had an agreement. He said, if you can make what you are making on EI by the time you finish the settlement that corporate gave me, my hush money, because it's against the law to let someone go while they're on mat leave, then you can stay home and not go back to work. So that's what happened. I stayed home and I did it. And I did it before my money ran out. And it was insane. At that point, we were like, we have nothing holding us back in Calgary. We jumped ship. We moved to Kelowna, bought a new house, started a new life out there. He was still working away. It was great. But our 1-year agreement of him working away turned into 3. So I was single momming. I say that loosely. a single mom on a very stable income, and I have mad respect for single parents. I was alone raising our kids, like with no familial help or friends helping, for like 3 years. He was home 6 days a month, and it sucked. My partner, it was gone. Like, he was gone. So that was my second real driving force was, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want him home. So March 25th, this past year, 2015, he came home. We brought him home. So he's home every night. We moved cross country. He's home every night with my babies. And now we just can't wait to get him out of a job that he can't stand. He took this week off and we built a deck outside. It's been so nice having him around. But it's just like, it doesn't matter where you start in this business. Every single one of us, like Casey said, we all start in the same place with no coaches, with very little experience. We have our experience of, I'm good at writing. I studied English and geography. I went through to teach high school. So I'm good at, book smart and writing and stuff. But there's a lot of things in this business that can be learned, and if you don't have a knack for having conversations, or if you don't know how to post something on social that grabs somebody's attention, those are things that can be learned. So what I wanted to talk about is the power of duplication. And I think it can start, you have a lot of leaders on this call, Casey, as well. You've got pretty much a wide range of like coach, emerald, ruby, diamond, and above, right, on the call. So when I talk about this, I normally talk about it first as how it relates to a coach when they first started. Can I see a show of hands? How many people are pretty new to coaching, like within your first 3 months here? Okay. So that's awesome. If my corporate mentor said this to me, and I'll never forget him. He said, if what you're doing can't be duplicated, it's not worth doing. And that was a huge aha moment for me. I thought, okay, like nobody can be me. Like, dude, you're on crack. I don't even understand. I don't even know what you're saying. This is not even possible. But something that like, it stuck in my head. And so I found myself every time I did something, it was like, I don't want to waste my time. My time is money. My time is valuable. So how can I make this duplicatable? And my whole business changed after that. It was from little things like, if you're writing a post on social, why would you just write it and leave it? Why wouldn't you write it and save it? Save it somewhere. Save it in a Google Doc so that when you have one of those days that you're feeling completely crappy, you don't want to live life, you don't want to adult, you can copy and paste that shit. You can repost it, repurpose it. Why? Why start over? I struggle with anxiety and depression. So there are many, many days that I don't want to show up at life. So, but I'm not going to not show up on social. The first rule of coach suicide is not showing up on social. If you don't show up 3 times a day, you're slowly committing coach suicide. So I save everything and I can repurpose anything and everything. And I started it in the form of like a blog. I have a website and it's like Alida's blog, totally not blogging. It was just a way for me to save my social media posts. And whether that was from my profile or from my accountability group, I came from a background of accountability groups, not challenge groups. So that's just a group for anybody who wants to change their life without buying anything. So maybe a little bit different from your team. So anything that I did, I started saving it, especially even now when I don't want to show up on social. I go back to those documents, all of my posts, they're saved. They're saved in a document that can easily be copied and pasted and edited, and I can alter the voice, I can make it current. That's one thing. If I could go back to the very beginning of my coaching career, I wish someone had told me from day one, if it can't be duplicated, it's not worth doing. I would have saved everything in a way that I could use it again and again and again. So exercise number 1, I want you to think about, and maybe even take a few minutes tonight to write down frequently asked questions that you're finding you are spending time answering over and over and over again. And I personally am not a scripts person. I don't like scripts primarily because I love using people's names repeatedly. I use their name repeatedly, so it's very personal, and I'm speaking to them. I'm not just speaking. So when I did try to copy and paste, I found I was copying and pasting people's names. And how redonkulous is that when you're speaking to Angela and you're copying and pasting Jessica's name? That's total BS to me, and that's something that I never want to receive from somebody else who's working in MLM. That's one of those things that just feels icky, right? So I'm not a script person, but I can have things like documents that have the basic information that I can use to over and over again. If somebody's asking about what is Beachbody On Demand, why am I going to retype that every single time? I actually send a document now, and it's like, it has, all of the how-to stuff with Beachbody On Demand. If you are already with me as a client, then this is how you can access your free trial. This is how you can upgrade to the 6-month or the annual on continuity. This is how you can access the premium workouts and do the sample workout. A lot of people don't know that. They think if they click on that lock and it says that they have to upgrade, they won't proceed. They're scared that they're going to get charged, right? Because they had to input their credit card. So they don't know that behind that lock, they can try a workout. And I would much rather see people try Insanity Max 30 before spending money on it, see if they actually like it, than to have them spend it and it sit on a shelf, right? So those are little hacks that I do. I send a document now. It saves my life. It saves my time, and it gives them everything they need, and also makes sure that they know the different charges that are going to come at them, so that down the road, they're not coming at me feeling upset with me that they were charged for something that they didn't know about. And yeah, sure, we're all adults and we can read the fine print. But again, that is not my personality type. I don't read the fine print. I trust people to tell me if I'm going to be auto-enrolled with something. I want to know. So common questions. What are some of the questions that you're asked on a regular basis? Things like, can I have more than 1 shake a day? Can I have 2? Can my kids have Shakeology? Can I have Energize or Shakeology when I'm pregnant or nursing? Can I take an extra rest day? What if I'm sore? Is there anything that you can recommend when you have sore muscles? When I'm sick, should I work out? A lot of people are curious. They don't think that you should work out when you have your period. I don't know about you, but I get that question a lot. So like little things like this, I now make 2-minute videos. Seriously, short and sweet. And if somebody asks me that question, I can copy and paste it. And now I save those videos and I use them in the My Challenge Tracker app. And I do like 2 to 3 short little videos a week with these little tips that people see. We think it's second nature, right? We think. I do. I put them on my channel and just public, Casey. I really do. I haven't hashtagged the crap out of them or anything to get more traffic, but they're just sitting there. Yeah. And I just did about 7 new ones the other day. So when I do that, I actually create a Google Doc as well. So it says videos for challenge group, and all of my links for all of my videos that I do are in my challenge group. So today, when I sat down and scheduled my post for my next challenge group, all I had to do is copy and paste. And then 2 days later, copy, paste. 2 days later, copy, paste. 2 days later, copy, paste. And now that it's in there with the new, the post. Oh, yes, I do. Now with the new post history or whatever it's called, I can, now that they're in there, I can just reschedule, right? And you can edit those and modify them to suit your needs. For those of you who don't know, when you use the My Challenge Tracker app now, it used to be so that when you start a new group, you have to redo all of your posts. And, for somebody like me who's a fan of duplication, I have my document of my challenge group post. So I copy and paste, and I do it from my phone because it's easier to save a photo on my phone than to save it to my desktop on my computer, right? So I do it all from my phone. And now they have the post history in there. So you can just go into your new challenge. You can select from what group you want to copy and paste your stuff, and you just reschedule it. And it schedules it on the same day of your challenge. So typically I have like post 4 days before challenge, post 3 days before challenge, post 2 days before challenge. Yeah, so it's a total lifesaver. So those are a few of my little hacks. I do a lot of documents. I do a lot of videos. If people aren't in my challenge group on the first 5 days, when there's a lot of critical information, I have that stuff also saved in the files. So everything is duplicatable, before photos, measurements, pictures. People don't know how to do that stuff. They really don't. And how many people miss out on that challenge group, the money and all of those little things because they're not doing it properly. So just every time, if I can urge you to think, every time you're doing something as a new coach or even as a seasoned coach, how can this be duplicated? Moving on to coaches who are starting groups, when you sponsor a new coach, does that new coach know how to do a visual to do a Facebook banner? The next time that you're doing a Facebook banner, when you're using Canva or PicMonkey, video yourself doing it. So you can have a 3-5 minute dirty tutorial on how to make a Facebook banner. You're doing a Google form. Here's a quick and dirty on how to do a Google form. So many people don't know how to do this. They don't even know how to open Google Docs. People don't know how to do it. So quick and dirty. And of course, these are things that people could Google as well, right? But when it relates specifically to coaching, I find it's so easy now for me to plug my coaches in and say, okay, now you're going to start your challenge group. And this is how you're going to create the banner for your challenge group. And these are the settings you're going to put for your group. So it's not public, it's closed, or it's not secret, or whatever you're doing. If you can find a way to tape yourself and make it duplicatable so you can share it so somebody else can plug into it and reuse it or duplicate it, that is like golden for me. I feel like my whole business, everything I do now becomes a how-to, it's one of the things I sucked at, to be honest. And there's another coach, there's another coach who is now my success partner, one of my success partners. And she was so good. Like, I just do things, right? I just do it. But she was so good at reverse engineering the how-to steps. And I'm like, God, how does she put into words how she does her? But I'm learning how to do that. It's such an emerald trait that is so not me, but she's an emerald, and I'm picking that up from her personality, and it's truly changing my life. So is there any questions before I move on? Anyone? I guess you're all muted, right? But you can drop them in the chat.
I have one quick question for you. When you're doing like your 2-minute videos and stuff, do you keep them completely public for anyone to see it on your channel, or do you make them private so that the link is private?
I make them all public.
Yeah. Me too. It's better. It's searchable too, which makes more sense, right?
It is. There are some things I don't like to make public, and a lot of things I do make unlisted. I mean, I guess I could get more traffic if I go back and hashtag it, right? But I've just uploaded them. They're public. And when you go back, there are 50 views. And I'm like, well, I just did it the other day. So it's just people who subscribe to your channel, and it provides a little bit of extra value. I don't know. I actually get a lot of clients from YouTube. And I really don't know how to use YouTube. I just post videos and sometimes hashtag. But yeah, I do post those there. But Google Docs is pretty much my go-to. Do you use Google Docs, Casey? It's like my God, I don't know. It's saving my life with everything. So I do everything there now. Even so far as, you have stronger leaders now who have large teams of their own, like how to run a leadership ladder report. People don't know how to do that. So if we can give them those tips and tricks on how to do things quickly and efficiently so that they can save their time and spend their time in doing something else more valuable, this is also super handy when it comes time to hiring an assistant, because you already have the how-to videos at hand and you have the documents at hand, right? So I see Sean and Alex are over there. Like, these are easy things. I don't know if Alex works the business or if he's the behind-the-scenes pitch. But those are easy things that he could copy and paste and do for you, right? Because it's already sitting there existing. So my husband started doing things like that for me. Or it's as simple as reaching out to your downline throughout the month. I reach out on the 5th and the 10th and the 15th and the 25th with the same message, pretty much, to just congratulate them on, helping to change lives. And it's something that's easily duplicatable. Somebody else my whole team can do that. It's an easy thing that can be duplicated. Okay. And then we talked a little bit about, how can you duplicate yourself? Well, you can't really, but you can teach people the art of conversation. You can teach people the art of posting on social media. So in terms of duplicating with that, if you are a coach who has coaches on their team, or you're a leader with coaches on your team, I've started implementing this thing where I save posts from the team. Like, I open up a document that's shared amongst my leaders, and we save our posts that are getting a lot of traction, or that got a lot of comments, that get a lot of different things. So then we can later have examples, sample posts, sample jabs, sample hooks, sample invite to challenge group, sample invite to coaching opportunity. Aside from all of the different documents that we have existing, like, this is, here's your document. This is everything for, like, I don't know if you save all your stuff for Push to Emerald group, or a 1-hour coaching opportunity open house, or challenge. Like, I pretty much save everything. So a coach can start, and I give them everything. And then it's up to them to learn who they are, learn what their brand is and who their niche market is. So really all of the legwork is done except for branding and social media. So it's at that point, what I want them to do is learn who they are. I want them to figure out and brain dump and make a list of, you know, everything that makes them the same as every coach out there and everything that makes them different from every coach out there. You know, what are the things that you thought of? What were your excuses before you became a coach? These are things that can be duplicated. You can ask your coaches, what were the things that were your excuses before you started coaching? Those are amazing hook lines. I'm a serial quitter. That is an amazing hook line where somebody's like, oh my God, me too. Like the power of me too goes so far. So if you can start identifying those characteristics that make you who you are, and then teach how to duplicate that system of learning your avatar. Do you guys do avatars? Do you create an avatar? Like a sample person of who your target market would be? It's essentially you. So finding out who your avatar is and teaching your team how to find out who their avatar is. So this is getting deeper into the, you know, once you're a coach and you're leading a team, but I feel like there are so many things that some people are natural at and so many things that other people aren't natural at. But if there's things that you're not a natural at, you can learn them. They can be learned and they can be perfected. And I just, you know, when it comes to the coaching thing, I think it's fear. Fear holds a lot of us back, right? Fear holds us back from posting what we want to post because we're scared that somebody's going to judge us. We're scared that somebody's going to unfriend us. We're scared of all of these different things. Fear holds us back from being authentically us, for making our mess our message and seeing the full capability of what we can do in this business. There was a point of that, and now I forget. I don't know. That's my mom brain. It's gone. So the fear holds us back from being authentically us. But if you can see a duplication of like a shit ton of posts that show how other people are sharing their mess and making it their message, and it's been a success and it's been something that's opened up and blown up their business, let me tell you, it is not something easy to share that you have struggled with mental health issues and anxiety. But can I tell you how much it's blown up my business? Yes, it brings me a lot of people who have a lot of baggage like myself, and I have to protect myself from being a counselor and a psychiatrist and just recommend personal development. But so many people now relate to me and who I am, something that sets me apart and that makes me different from other coaches. So being able to share with my team the type of posting that I can do that opens up my story, that's like breadcrumbing, but in a repertoire of files. Like there are other moms and women on my team who are emotional eaters. So to have a gamut of posts that are dealing with emotional eating, that are dealing with anxiety and depression, that are dealing with real life mess is my message stuff. And then to have those sample, a lot of people struggle with the challenged group invites, right? You can be super salesy and you can make a few small tweaks and you can be really relatable and really realistic in your posting. So that's something that we're actually working on duplicating as well, is sharing your invite posts in our team page and kind of not tearing them apart, but tearing them apart or making small suggestions or like, this is how I would write that instead of that. Because it's not something that some people do naturally. I feel like I do, but not everybody does. Same as conversations, sample conversations that can be had, like, hey girl, just simple hey girl messages when you start. Yeah, exactly. Simple hey girl messages. I don't know about you guys, but is anybody scared to add those 3 friends every day and just send them a random message? Do you ever just get scared and not send them the message? Be honest. Do you ever get scared and not send them the message? Mm-hmm. It's scary to send someone a random message, right? And we can paralysis by analysis. We're so busy trying to have a perfect action that we are imperfect. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, right? So we're so scared to take that first step that we just don't take it. So I was like, my God, my girls are legitimately telling me that they're sending all these people these messages, but they're not. I know they're not. So I started a file. sample hey girl messages. When I do my 30-minute green means go time, when people are online on social media at night, I pick my time and I'm like, ooh, okay, green means go. Here I go. I'm going to start randomly messaging my hey girl messages. I'm like, I'm going to teach them how to do that. How do you do that? You go and you creep their profile, you find something in common with them, and you send them a simple hey girl message. So I made this document of hey girl messages, and they're so simple. Hey girl, looks like you had an amazing first birthday party for Carter on the weekend. Where did you have your cake made? Easy peasy. And then conversation starts. Like, don't overthink it. I think sometimes it's paralysis by analysis. We're so busy overthinking things that the seemingly smallest and easiest things to do in this business become so hard. Don't you think? Like, it's actually that easy to send someone a message. Like, hey girl, love your new profile photo. Bam. Easy. So if you can do green means go time, if you can get your team doing green means go time, 30 minutes every single day, and you just start randomly messaging everybody who's online with simple hey girl messages with a sample of what are those simple hey girl messages? What are those simple messages that you reach out to people when you add them as a friend? What do you say? How many of you have added somebody on a friend and as a friend on Facebook and they're like, are we friends? Have I met you before? So what do you say? Do you have, maybe you can start collecting a few samples of things that you reply with so that when it happens to your coach, you can say, this is what I say. This is what I say. It's easy, right? I think that there's so many things now that I wish I had saved because I don't think of a lot of things now. It's all second nature. So if you're a new coach getting started, I just want you to think of those really, really uncomfortable moments, the times that you're doing something, you're eating those frogs. If you are feeling that, the chances down the road of somebody else feeling those exact same feelings are so similar. So if you can help them to make that step a little bit easier by giving them a little bit of guidance, like I didn't know what to say to somebody when I sold my first challenge pack. I barfed all kinds of information on them, gave them way too much information, and then they never bought it. Like, how many times did I have to fail forward before I got that right? You know, what are the kinds of questions that you ask to people that don't scare them away? How do you listen and not speak so much? Like, I feel like there's systems that can be implemented and duplicated, but like Casey said, there's some systems that people have nailed down, and I haven't nailed mine down, but I sure am trying, and I'm trying to implement a whole bunch of different things. So when somebody asks a question, I can send a document and say, you know what, we actually have a bunch of documents together, you know, in our directory. Have you checked out the social media posting guide? Have you checked out the challenge group posting guide? Have you checked out the XYZ? When it comes to the challenge groups now, I find creating a system for duplication with that is really helping me to, I'm not a strong recruiter, like a cold recruiter. I am a challenger to coach recruiter. I don't know how most of you guys are, but that's how I am. So I'm finding a system to help duplicate that for my team by sharing my challenge group guide with them, my invitation email, and then check-in forms. I do check-in forms with my challengers every week. So I've shared my forms with my team. So there's questions in there that dig deeper than surface level. I find the Challenge Tracker app, there's not a lot of baggage or struggles that get shared. It's a lot of, this is my workout, I did it, done. So it's allowing me to get closer with my challengers and learn more about them by having them submit a weekly check-in. So that's a system that's duplicatable. So now my coaches can easily create a copy of the form and they can send that to their challengers every week. So again, something that's easily duplicatable. And then I give them the outline for a coaching 1-hour open house. So all they have to do is copy and paste it and auto schedule it into their event page, right? It's just such an easy transition when you equip them with things that can be duplicated, that they don't have to think so much and struggle so much to come up with right from the get-go. I find the challenge group forms are they're really rocking my world, to be honest. I don't know if have any of you guys used those before? I used to use Wufoo, Amber. I don't anymore. I use Google Forms. Wufoo, I pay for still every month. I really like Google Forms, and I like how I can configure them and I can add videos. So every week I have a little motivational video. It's one of the first things that I add in there. So they watch that, you know, those motivational ones on YouTube. I add one of those, and then I have it configured so it's form to email. So in Google Forms, you can actually have it output into a spreadsheet. I don't know if it would help you for, like, I can show you what it looks like, how it outputs into a spreadsheet. And then you can see everybody, and you can see all of the answers to your questions. And you can also have it come form to email right to your email. So you reply to it as an email. But I do it as a post in my challenge group. And then I also send it as a bulk message to every challenger in my group. So, I mean, rate of return it's not 100%. Like, I had 73 challengers in my last challenge group, and I think 42 replied, which is decent. I mean, half of those people probably didn't even push play on the first day. And I'm still trying. Yeah, it's really, really neat. If you're in Google Docs, if you go into your Google Drive, and you could easily just Google how to make a Google form, it's really easy. You click on new, and then Google form, and it's super straightforward, easy peasy, like add field, save. But there's some really great things that you can do with it, and it allows me to dig a little bit deeper. That's the biggest duplication thing of late that I have my team doing. If I can get every single person doing these check-ins, I swear we're going to transfer or you know, we're going to have a lot of challengers turn coaches. I have a lot of leading questions in there as well. I allow people in my challenge groups who don't use Shakeology. So let's say week 2 or week 3 check-in, I start alluding to the fact, like, by now, if you're using Shakeology, you should have started noticing some changes. What kind of changes have you started noticing? And then in brackets, think about your energy or your sleeping behavior or your bowel movements and different things like that. Getting people who even aren't using Shakeology thinking, wait, it helps with energy, it helps with your bowels, it helps with sleep. Hey, I think I want to get started with Shakeology, right? So typically by week 2 or 3, people are starting to ask about, you know, based on the posts that we're doing in the challenge group and based on the questions in the forms, having a lot of conversion into coaches. So it's something that I really like doing. It does take a little bit more time, but that's where my focus has been lately is on my challengers. And now I need to get back to my coaches and my training groups. But yeah, aside from that, like, I don't know if you want me to just keep rambling. Go, Casey, unmute yourself. Talk to me.
Sorry. I was like, couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. Oh my gosh, I don't know about you guys, but I have like 5 pages of notes, and that never happens. I usually take like maybe 1 page, but I'm like, no. You do everything so different, and it's all stuff that I've like always been super curious to learn. So I think that's really cool. We can open it up quick. Do you guys have any questions? Anyone? I unmuted everybody. If you guys have questions, you can type them into the chat window. Oh, shoot. So you're using the challenge tracker app then, and not Facebook?
Correct.
Yeah, I like it better a lot.
I just feel like I like the culture in my groups on Facebook. Like, I have an accountability group. I kind of mentioned accountability group, and it's just like my girls go live. My clients go live all the time, and they share snippets of their workout, and they talk about like, holy shit, today was a tough day. Like, dude, it's your post that got me through the day, Nikki, or whatever. Like, and we can't do that in my challenge tracker app yet. We will. Right?
That's what I noticed about it too. And personally, I'm such a creature of habit. So like, I've been doing them on Facebook for like 3.5 years. And then, so now trying to move into an app, I was like super hesitant, but I just said to everybody, like, okay, this is a trial thing. And everyone that tried it was like, we love this app. I'm like,
when did you start it, Casey?
What's that?
When did you start using it?
Last month. For the health bet?
I started about 3 months ago.
Did you?
And it's blowing up my world. Yeah, I'm so much like that. I'm so resistant to change too. I'm like,
it scares me so bad. And I'm like, that's really bad. That's really bad. And then people ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know. I've never used it. It's like really bad. But I really like it. And the engagement that I'm getting is awesome. And I don't know if it's because people don't use Facebook. Like coaches use Facebook, but average people don't use Facebook as much as we would like them to. So having an app on your phone, I mean, everyone has their phone, right? And I feel like the engagement is so much better.
What I also like is that people don't slip through the cracks. Like when they're not posting on Facebook, you actually have to go through and you have to, like, it just takes so much time. And I find now that you have the ability to see who's been logging their workouts and doing it. Like I'm following up more with people who used to just slip through the cracks, you know? So it's like, okay, there are some questions coming in here. Do I message every new friend as soon as they accept? Yep, absolutely. I send them a message right away. With a thank you, number one, like, thank you so much for the ad, Cynthia. I'm always curious how people find me. You know, I love connecting with new people who are into health and fitness. Can you, something along those lines, you know, can you tell me how you found me? Or is there a friend that, you know, normally there's mutual friends or something, or it's a cold one. So I always come up with something. And that's one document that I haven't created yet for my team. And I keep telling them that I'm going to create, you know, these are the types of messages that I send when I add a friend and they accept me, or when somebody else adds me and I accept them. Because those are other ones that are sticky, you know. I find a lot of times now people add me and I already have a message when I accept it. But like that takes time to build up too, right? Some of my fave PD books. You Are a Badass, Jen Sincero. I love that book. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I'm very much into learning to love yourself and be authentically and organically yourself, and not giving two shits about what anybody else thinks. That's how I roll. And these books are helping me to be comfortable in my own skin. The Compound Effect, I absolutely love. I'm recommending that a lot for even some of my friends who have anxiety, or who are drinking too much, or eating disorders, whatever that is. The Compound Effect, I love. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because I am a visual learner. So auditory is in one ear and out the other. It's not really my jam, and I never leave my house. So I don't go in my car unless it's for school drop off, really. How much time a day do I spend on sharing my story and creating content? I like to post in the moment now. So I don't spend a lot of time, like, it's normally I finish my workout and then I have things on my brain, so I write it right then and there. That said, I do travel a fair bit now, so I like to use my flights wisely. And we can't in Canada get on the internet on most of our flights. So I typically will save about 20 I Google life motivation or fitness motivation on Google, and I save about 20 photos. I have folders and folders of motivational posts, but I save those, and then when I'm on a flight, I write to those. It's like, how can I talk about my own story in relation to this quote as a motivational post? So then I have one of those documents that's just all of those things. When I don't want to show up an adult, I can copy and paste it. I use my flights wisely. Yeah, I really like that way when I add a friend. I like to know who, and typically when you ask questions, I mean, if you leave someone with a statement, they're not going to reply. So if you even take the time to go, another one that I frequently end with is, oh my God, are those your two babes? How cute. Mine are the same. Or like, I ask a question about their kids. Oh my goodness, is that your daughter? Of course they're going to reply, yeah, that's my daughter. She's 2 and blah, blah, blah. And like, that's an old photo. This is a recent photo though. Like, you ask someone a question, and like, especially us stay-at-home moms, like, we talk about poop and baby babble all day. Of course we're going to answer you. We want to talk to someone.
Oh my God.
Yes, I send my challengers a welcome email. I like through, Amber, do you mean through I send them the invitation email. I send, every time somebody orders a challenge pack, I have a document that I copy and paste into a snippet on Streak that I send them. And it tells them how to apply to reserve a spot for my challenge group. And it gives them information on Beachbody On Demand, on their auto ship for Shakeology, on my favorite recipe for Shakeology. Like, let's be honest, the first couple times somebody makes a shake, they suck at it and then they never want to buy it again. So I'm going to tell them how to make it right from day one with my favorite recipe, so they keep making it. So I do that. And I it's a lot of information. I just tell them not to read the one that comes from corporate.
Will you send me that?
Yep.
And I can share it with you guys. I think it's a really, really cool tool. And it's one of those things that like you would have to customize to your own market, obviously, you know, and make it your own, but it's a really, really cool.
Mine's just it's really information based, but it's something, again, that an assistant can do. Somebody can log in and see, you know, my Success Club points, they click on it and they just copy and paste all the emails. And then they send it as a bulk email to every single person who ordered a challenge pack. And then, you know, like, I don't know about you, but if somebody comes, now that we have the continuity emails for Shakeology, it doesn't happen so much. But when people are like, I just received another bag of Shakeology, like, my credit card bounced or whatever. Like, I don't like those icky feelings. It makes me feel sick to my stomach when somebody doesn't know, and I feel like I've breached their trust. So it's something that's very important to me. And when I get those messages, I'm like, did you not read the document I sent you? Oh yeah, I did get it. And I'm like, I'm off the hook, Batman. Like, that's your bad, not mine. I did my due diligence. I never want to have that happen to me after the one time it did. Ugh, the worst. Hate it. I gotta send that to you though.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any more really, really quick questions? More questions? Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I recorded this call. I'm going to go back and watch it again. It's like one of those calls that I want to go back and watch again, because I think that you are just so inspiring in the way that you do things. You have found that level of professionalism in this business. And I can't say that enough, that yes, this is like network marketing. It's all laid out for you and it's so easy peasy and so cookie cutter and anybody can do it. But the people that truly have the huge success in this business are the ones that take the professionalism to another level and start learning these things and, you know, how to do forms and how do I do a form and how do I run a professional challenge group. You know, and just the way that you do things, I just think is incredible. I'm jealous that I'm not on your team.
I'm jealous that I'm not on your team.
I just think you have it so laid out, so easy. And I'm inspired as a leader to go back and change a lot of the things that I've done, you know, make it easier for people, you know, the documents and, you know, the 2-minute videos and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's no reason why we can't all be doing that. And, you know, even for my team, I encourage you guys that are on this call, if there's something that you're making a video about, it needs to go into the team page too. And that's one thing about duplication. And Alida, I know you can agree with this. When you're on a team and it's just you, you know, making the videos and doing the trainings and that sort of thing, is exhausting for you. And I think that we're all so different in the way that we do things that if we're not all putting into the group, it takes away from that culture so much. And whether you're a new coach that started yesterday and you're like, hey, I learned this really cool thing and I just thought I'd share it with you guys, even though you probably have seen it a million times, you know, if we're all posting in the group and we're all coming in, that culture is so thick. And it just
strong. And I think there's something to be said for our ego. You don't have to create everything. Beg, borrow, and steal. Leave your ego at the door. Do not reinvent the wheel. If somebody else posts a 2-minute video in your team page about can I have Shakeology more than once a day, you copy that, you save it, and you paste it wherever it needs to be. Like, our egos are the worst things. Like, I should have said that right from the get-go. Like, don't feel like you need to reinvent the wheel. I've been beg, borrowing, and stealing everybody else's shit up until this point. You know?
Totally. And it's so much better. And what I found too is that if you're using somebody else's stuff, it's not always just about you, but sometimes we connect with other coaches a lot more than we connect with our own coach or our own downline or so be it, whatever, you know, like, and I think that it's amazing to have kind of a melting pot of information instead of just all you and what's in your head when I'm so different from everybody else. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to cut this call off, you guys. We have another call to be on, but I thank you guys so much for coming out, and I appreciate you so much for doing this call for us. I'm taking so much away from it. I had a blast. I think it's wonderful. We have another call after this, you guys. I will post a recording for you. What's that?
I said thanks for going early.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks you guys for coming half an hour early. And I will post a recording for you guys. And if you have any other questions, you can post them in the group and I can get in touch with Alida and I can have her answer your questions. So have a good night, you guys.
Good night, guys.
Talk to you later. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.